So thanks for your time. Thanks for registering to come to this masterclass. And today you're going to hear from our three experts in the branding team. So first up, you're going to hear from Danielle Kett, our lead graphic designer, and she'll talk about what branding actually is. Next, you're going to hear from Abby Jane, our lead copywriter and brand strategist on all things, unsurprisingly, strategy. And then our creative director, Kate Dewey, will bring it home and talk about how you can craft a brilliant brand that your customers will love. So I'll let Kate, hand over to Kate.
Okie doke. Hi guys, thanks so much for being here today. It's an absolute pleasure to have you all here and to be able to assist you, I suppose, with this prezzo on branding and how you can use it to grow your business. So brands, they can be the difference between a customer choosing one product over another. Your audience is bombarded every single day with so many subliminal messages, whether it's visual or verbal. Given the oversaturation of inboxes and social media, etc., your brand gets a really small window of opportunity to make its impact. But it's not about being the loudest, it's about staying on target. But what if you could craft your brand and messaging to ensure that you're reaching your target audience, resonating so strongly that you drown out your competitors? So if you're looking to attract a large audience, develop a strategy, and build a brand that establishes you as a leader in your field, you're in the right place, which leads me to what we'll be covering today in today's masterclass. Some of the things we'll be discussing include the most common branding mistakes that businesses make and how to avoid them, how your brand is so much more than a logo or a tagline. We'll bust some common myths about traditional branding usage and applications, and how you can create a brand that people love so the final outcome completely aligns with your business's vision using our exclusive branding resources and framework. Alrighty, so I'm just going to screen share for a second. So we're going to disappear slightly into the background. Is that it? No.
Just Command Enter.
Okay, so essentially, who are we and why are we here today? Well, we're all from D & Co Studio, and we're a local agency born out of a passion to create exceptional brands through leading edge graphic design. And we're dedicated to a single purpose, and that's helping our clients to achieve their dreams in business. And we do this through delivering top-end strategic branding solutions that deliver exceptional results. We can help with all aspects of branding, so from brand identity through to brand strategy. We also can assist with graphic design as well as print design. And these are some of the things that we can help with. Some of our clients that we've worked with over the years include who we've got: GenU, Deakin University, Vic Roads, Karen Millen, and Victoria Police, just to name a few. And now I'm going to, now I'm going to pass over to Danielle, who's going to be going through the brand, what is branding section of this prezzo.
Okay, so what is branding? Branding goes into a lot more depth than just your logo, your colors, your fonts, and your website. It's the experience that your consumer has when they come into contact with your business. In summary, branding is the intangible feeling that all your assets, all your brand assets collectively create. So why is branding important? At D & Co Studio, we believe that great branding is vital. And this is because it's the face of your business and the first impression. It sets the professional standard of your business. It strategically markets you. It makes you credible and solidifies your reputation. It makes you stand out and sets you apart. It increases your brand business's value, and your ideal customer will actively seek you out. It will also save you time and money. So what's involved in building a brand? Branding can be broken down into 3 phases, which are brand strategy, brand identity, and brand marketing. Now I'll be passing it over to Abby, our brand strategist, to talk about brand strategy.
Hi everyone, I'm Abby, here to talk to you from Deanco a bit about brand strategy today. Obviously, when you're starting to develop your brand or you're starting to build one, it can seem like an overwhelming task. Doing a brand strategy first, it's the equivalent of doing a business plan, but for your brand. So this is just where you get started. It's a nice, slow introduction into what's eventually going to culminate in brand identity, brand attributes, and brand assets that you can use. But before you do all that, your brand strategy is your jumping off point. It's like your discovery session where you start deciding how you want your brand to sound, look, and feel. So not just now, but in the future, what you want your brand to achieve. So it'll map out your aspirations and goals, and it'll determine how you want your brand to be seen in the marketplace. So this isn't just in terms of a market position, but this is also how your customer is going to see your brand. So just as you wouldn't build a business without a business plan, so you don't want to build a brand without an effective brand strategy. So if you think of it as starting a bit of a list, and you don't need to start making this list right at this moment, but a brand strategy is a journey, and it should involve a number of components. So you'll discover a number of things on this journey, and you want to just, note these things down as they come to you. So first off, we're going to do a bit of brand discovery. So this is a fun part. This is about you starting to consider what you want your brand to be known for. So what's the main thing you want to become known for? You want your customers to know you for, whether that's a product or a service. And basically, who and what are you doing this for? This is the why. Why are you doing all this? So if you can nail that, that will really help you develop an identity around that that's going to resonate with your target customer. So in this phase, you're also going to be doing competitor research. So this is actually looking at competitors who you aspire to, who do what you do well or want to do well, and also looking at competitors that you don't rate and you don't want to seem like either. So thinking about their brands, how their brands look, what you want to look like and what you do want to look like. One key element you need to discover here is your target audience. While you might want to reach a broad range of people, nailing down your target audience means you can make your messaging really, really targeted. So this could be in terms of what specific age is your best target audience, where is your specific target audience, what gender is your target audience, and other elements that's going to help you reach those people. And even when you get sort of more specific and down to what types of media are they consuming and where are you going to reach these people. So that's the next step in brand strategy. The last one, which is a nice one, is your brand story. And that's thinking about how you've come to decide you want to develop this brand and how you're going to tell that story through your brand assets. What does your colour say about you? What's your brand history? And how is your personal backstory going to help customers generate an emotional response? So they will then hopefully purchase your product or service. That's the idea with brand strategy. And once you've got that cemented, then it's time to get some assets happening and some brand identity. And I think we are going back to Danielle for some brand identity.
Sorry, just 1 minute.
Just checking to see if there was any people waiting.
Oh, perfect.
Technical difficulties.
So what is brand identity? Brand identity is essentially how you present all of this to the public with visuals, messaging, and experience. Your brand strategy, of what Abby was talking about before, will influence how you present your brand identity and align it with your purpose for the most impact. What does brand identity involve? Your elements of brand identity should be applied across all platforms consistently. Consistency is key when it comes to branding. It's the way that your business will become recognizable and also memorable. The way to do this includes your logo, your colors and fonts, your patterns and icons, all of your collateral, website design, content and messaging, advertising, and your print or packaging. So what is brand marketing? I will be handing over to Kate for this section.
Cool. So what exactly is brand marketing? So essentially, brand marketing is the way that a brand highlights their product or service through strategic communication. Okay, and what does it involve? It can take place through various activities, including your website, your SEO, content marketing, your social media, email marketing, or paid advertising. So there's all these various digital marketing activities that you could go through when it comes to brand marketing. So what are some of the common mistakes that businesses might make during the creation of their brand? There's a couple that we've just highlighted in the next couple of slides, which we'll just be exploring really briefly. So one of the key common branding mistakes is not defining their brand strategy first. It's really important that you define your brand strategy on a strategic level from the beginning, and have a really deep understanding of why your brand exists and why it's important in the lives of your ideal customer. It means you'll have a plan in place moving forward, which outlines who you are, what you stand for, your ideal audience, and how you plan to market your brand, which is absolutely key. Starting with a make-do brand identity. We understand that when you're starting a business, funds might be really tight, which is absolutely understandable. But starting with a DIY or a make-do brand identity, thinking, oh, well, I'll just address it later, could be really detrimental to the growth of your brand and business, purely because it might attract the wrong target market or actually send the wrong message about your business and what you're about. It's really important to get a strong foundation to work from the start. And even if it's, and it is an investment in the success of your business long term. So whilst we understand that, yeah, funds can be tight, you can always, find I suppose a level where you could have a designer design your brand identity for you and put forethought into what your brand is and how you want to present yourself. Another one is failing to differentiate their brand. So like I said before, we're bombarded with thousands of marketing messages a day. And in order to create cut through, it's really important to stand out and be different. When you're different, you're memorable. So creating that cut through is absolutely vital. By defining who you are and what makes you unique and translating that into your brand, it'll help you stand out and communicate your value in a really saturated marketplace. Not connecting with the right target audience. So it's pretty essential to kind of know who you're targeting when it comes to your brand. Getting to know them on not an intimate level, but on a deep level is important, because then it means that you can speak to them in a meaningful way. So knowing things about your ideal brand persona or buyer, things like their location, their profession, their age bracket, what their income is, what are their needs or desires, what are their goals for life, do they have family, do they not have family. Going that in depth when it comes to knowing your target audience is really important, because then when you do connect with them in a personal way, it's more meaningful on their behalf. Not being consistent, a common mistake that a lot of businesses do well, it's probably the most common mistake that the businesses do when it comes to presenting their brand is not being consistent. So whilst they might be thinking, I might change up my look and feel of my flyer this week and, you know, use yellow instead of purple, because purple, I don't feel like using purple today, is actually really detrimental. It confuses your ideal audience. They're unsure as to who is this business, and I'm not sure if this is the same business that I was looking at last week, because their look and feel is different. It also dents the trust that you're trying to create with your ideal market. They can't feel as if they can trust you on to look to you to deliver the outcome that they're after. And trust is so important when it comes to branding, and ensuring that that trust is there through consistency is, you know, really important. And one of the best ways to stay consistent with your brand is to create a style guide, which we'll be exploring later, which is a document that specifies important elements in your brand. And it's, you know, a go-to document that you can always refer to ensure that you're always consistent. Not providing a great brand experience. Providing a great brand experience leads to the opportunity of creating brand loyal customers. So when a consumer interacts with your brand and has a negative experience, and that negative experience isn't handled in the best possible light, it can lead to a bit of a distrust with your brand. 75% of consumers said that negative interactions with staff, whether it be poor attitude, lack of knowledge, etc., was a primary cause for their bad brand experience. Other things that have been brought up in this study that we were looking at from In Moment, I think it was, cited that it was a lack of understanding of needs, or there's no staff available to help when necessary. So if you walk into a bricks and mortar store and there's no one there to assist you when you're browsing or looking for a solution to your problem, it could be really off-putting for a consumer. And delivering products and services that were not what they expected. Okay, and how to build a brand that people love. I'm just going to throw over to Danielle, who is going to explore this part of the presentation.
So how to build a brand that people love. Discover the purpose behind your brand. Every successful brand has a powerful purpose behind it. Studies show that 50% of consumers worldwide say they buy based on a company's values. So this is really important to find your truths that distinguish you and make you quite unique from other brands that you're competing against, and communicate it to your audience. Use these truths as a competitive advantage and market your brand identity differently. Research your competitor. So you should never imitate. Oh my gosh, imitate. I just went completely blank. Sorry, I do that sometimes. You should never imitate exactly what big brands are doing in your industry, but you should be aware of what they're doing well and maybe what they might be failing at as well. The goal is to differentiate from the competitor, to convince them to purchase from you rather than someone else. Determine your target audience. When brand building, keep in mind exactly who you are trying to reach. You'll tailor your missions and your message to meet their exact needs. The key is to get specific. Narrowing down your target audience will give you a competitive advantage, and this will help ensure that your message is heard by the right audience. I will now be passing it on to Kate. Is that you? The key benefits your brand offers.
Your brand offers.
Sure, let's do it.
I can do it if you like.
So if you want to outline the key benefits of your brand offering, so this is really thinking about what particularly do you offer your customer that maybe others don't, or what you want to concentrate on from a bit of a positioning strategy. So this is your products, your services and benefits that belong solely to you. So to start around this memorable, so you want to dig deep to figure out what it is you offer, not necessarily what no one else is offering, yes, but also how you do it better than they do it. So do you deliver better customer service? Do you deliver a better quality of product? Do you deliver a cheaper product? So what you want to do is focus on those qualities and benefits, make your company branding and business unique, and think about how you provide value that improves consumers' lives. Not only that, but obviously how you can show why they should come to you over someone else that's delivering a similar thing.
Cool.
So developing your unique brand voice. Now, this is just as important as your logo design, your graphic elements, your branding, your colors, everything like that. If you aren't communicating in a voice that resonates with your intended audience, they aren't going to listen to your brand. They aren't going to respond to it. And what results in sales is emotional responses. So when you're developing your brand voice, a good exercise is to think about the way your target demographic speaks. So this is phrasing that they respond to, terminology that they respond to, and terminology that they use themselves. So if we think about how we're going to develop that brand tone of voice, you want to think about what industry they're working in, maybe what age they are, the kinds of phrases that they're going to possibly be offended by, and the type of lingo that they might use depending on their age, depending on their station in life. If you're a really technical brand, you know, you might want to delve more into technical language. If you're a casual clothing brand, a stylish brand, you might want it to be more fun. So the best way to do this is to write down all of the adjectives that describe the way your brand, the way you want your brand to sound to your intended audience. So that could be friendly, it could be fun, it could be professional, it could be technical, it could be intelligent, it might be quirky. What you want to do is develop that brand voice and make sure you are always speaking in that same brand tone, whether it's in written form, in spoken form, or wherever your brand messaging appears, you have to stick to that brand tone of voice, because that's what's going to maintain brand consistency, which Kate has talked about, and make sure people are responding to you and hopefully noticing you. So with your brand tone of voice, once you've developed that, you want to create a brand tagline. So this is a fun part of the brand building process. It's also one of the most important. So when you're developing a tagline to support your logo or your brand assets, what you ideally want to do is create either a short synopsis of what you do, so it's an easy get for customers, but also make it a concentration of your brand promise. So this is almost like a summary, a very short summary of what your customer is going to experience or what your brand is going to achieve when they interact with your brand. So it's the essence of your identity. And while it's just a few words that you do have to communicate that identity, it's crucial to get right. Obviously, there's over 1 million words in the English language. There's a lot to choose from. Making sure those words are the right ones. If you are struggling with it, this is when you talk to experts and get some help in developing a tagline for you, or you talk to a copywriter, or you get some and get some advice, because it really is not only something that needs to be a summary of your brand, it's also something that you want to have longevity. It's going to live a long time, so you want it to be absolutely right.
Cool. Oh, wait, go back. Okay, as now the next section is create a brand identity. Lots of people believe that a brand identity is your brand. As Danielle said before, your brand is so much more than that. Your brand identity is the face of your business, though. It's the main thing that people come in contact with when first interacting with your business. So it'll be your calling card, is the visual recognition of your promise to that customer. So it's really important that you get a brand identity that encompasses exactly what you're about, what you stand for, and you invest the time and money into it by creating something exceptional to reinforce these values as well. And of course, we can assist with that. And brand style guide. It's really important to have a brand style guide, but a lot of people aren't sure what it is. Essentially, a style guide is a document that sums up elements of your brand. So it's the usage of your logo and the placement of it on materials. It includes your color palette, and that includes color breakdowns. So whether it's for screen or for print, that you always have access to the right brand colors at all times. It also includes typography and fonts. So having access to your font is like your corporate font's really important. It ensures that everything's very consistent. You also might have had some icons designed if you're working with a designer that help your brand story or help communicate your brand story. So it includes iconography, photography and image style. So you might have, I don't know, for example, a massage business that you want a really soft look and feel for. So your photography that you use might have that soft color palette and that soft look and feel, as opposed to a high-end fashion brand. They might be really bold and striking with their photography. Your style guide will also go into things like web elements. So there might be visual assets like a texture or a pattern or some sort of graphic icon that might communicate your brand and its values as well.
Just to add to what Kate said there as well, another crucial element of having one of these is, so if someone else is using your brand or your brand is supposed to appear somewhere else, say on an affiliate site or anything like that, this is essentially a set of rules. So they know how they should be using your logo and where and how it should be placed. So it's just will maintain your brand consistency no matter where it appears.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't want people to be mucking around with your brand.
No, that is a no-no.
They must adhere to the style guide at all times. And this is an example of one that we created for Geelong Chamber of Commerce. This one's quite extensive. Whilst you may not need something this extensive, we also do one-pagers, which are also just as useful and obviously more concise. It just depends on what your goals are for your business, and if you require a lengthy style guide, we're here to assist. Okay, building your brand story. Let me just flick to yes. So your brand story is an opportunity to communicate on a really human level with your audience, making a direct emotional connection with them. Your brand story is something that's always being told. People respond to stories more so than anything else. It's that connection, that interaction, that emotional depth of things that makes something easy to relate to. The language that you use should be understood immediately while striking an emotional chord, as well as ensuring that the language is on par for your brand values as well.
Yeah, so it's right for your target audience.
Yeah.
Always important.
Make it really simple and clear. Use the business voice that you've chosen for your brand when creating your brand story. Address not only what your product can do, but why it's important in the lives of your ideal customer and why you're there. And then you're on the path to branding success.
Hooray!
Yay! Just to sum up, branding can be one of the most significant things you can do for your new or existing business. A solid brand building process can transform your business from a small-time operation into something that's scalable and really successful in the long term. Your customers will develop a deeper level of trust for your brand and are more likely to purchase what you are selling. To ensure your success, you need to develop a consistent message, a visual identity to reinforce your mission and values. Above all, always start by developing your brand strategy first. Now go forth and build an effective brand and tell your story. Today, we're offering a really special limited time offer.
Special limited time offer.
Ding, 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 ding. We'll be, as a thank you for being a part of our branding masterclass, we'll be giving you access to all our branding workbooks and frameworks that we use in our process, as well as a free brand audit and consultation. Suffering from Danielle's tongue tie.
Pass it on.
We'll be sending out a link to this after this masterclass, so you can book in a time that suits you and download our branding resources. We would love the opportunity just to give you any feedback or any sort of help that you might need with your brand, so you can ensure that your brand can grow. And to sum up, a brand is a story that is always being told. That was said by Scott Bedbury, who is I think he's actually CEO, not just an executive, but Nike and Starbucks. I think the next thing we're going to do is open up to questions. So if anyone wanted to ask a question, I'm going to give it over to Nathan. Cool. Did anyone have any questions at all? We're more than happy to have a chat.
If you'd like to, you could probably feel free to unmute yourself and just ask straight away if you're brave enough.
I'll ask one. Hi guys, thank you. That was awesome. Really good refresher. Kate, I've got a question for you. What's your recommendation around rebranding an established business? Because I think that's definitely something that would be concerning to a business that's been around for a while and the impact that can have. So yeah, if you could shed some light on that, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I suppose what I'd be asking would be what's your reasons for wanting to rebrand? What's the purpose of why you feel that you need to rebrand? Whilst we are obviously wanting to assist people, but don't fix it if it's not broken, I suppose is the adage that comes to mind. So I'd probably be going into depth with you about, okay, what are the reasons why you feel you need to rebrand? Is there a disconnect between you and your customers? Is there something that's happened structurally within the business, like a new CEO, etc., who's wanting to go in a different direction perhaps?
Definitely, yeah. A good question, Christina, in that sometimes people have brands and they have established brands they've had for a long time that haven't had this level of treatment, especially with businesses that have evolved, may offer a new set of products or services, and they haven't had a brand audit in some time.
Yeah.
So it's actually a good exercise to undergo a brand refresh to make sure that brand is now representing them accurately. Obviously, branding, like all things, like clothes, like cars, they're trends. What may have been cool in graphic design 10, 20 years ago may not still apply to your brand. So it does need a bit of a makeover, so it appeals to your current audience and new customers that you're trying to get, especially if you're finding your brand's it's not working, you want to reach more people, then absolutely time for a rebrand and a refresh.
Yeah, but I'd also audit the reason, like go through an audit with you just to ascertain what your thinking is around that. Just to
could a potential strategy be, depending on that outcome of that conversation, be, oh no, actually your branding's good, but it might just be the collateral and the material and just bringing it all together and sort of giving it that more consistent.
Absolutely. We wouldn't recommend something like if we feel that your brand is actually working really well for you and it's just a matter of refreshing the materials that surround your brand, we'd absolutely be quite transparent about that. Like I said, we always govern ourselves with integrity when it comes to branding, and we wouldn't suggest to do something unless we felt that absolutely it would have a massive impact on how you're perceived by your ideal client or target market.
Yeah, one of the key elements of a rebrand is to really strike that balance.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose your current customer.
Absolutely.
So you have to retain some elements that your current customers recognise while doing a refresh that's going to attract new people. So we always make sure we keep that in mind, rather than, brands should always evolve rather than change. So
Absolutely.
we don't want to do something so drastic that your current audience no longer recognises you, because that's your existing brand.
It's one of the biggest fears, isn't it?
Yeah, brand story as well.
Yeah,
you don't want to undo the hard work you've done building up the brand base that you have.
Awesome, thank you.
Hopefully that helps, Christina.
Yes, that's great. Thanks.
Cool. Any other questions, guys? Maybe not.
Come on, throw us some curly ones.
If it's a curly one, I'll give it to Abby. Well, if we don't have any more questions, thank you so much for being here today and for your time. And like I said, we'll be touching base with you via email, just with the link to the free brand audit and consult, as well as our branding resources. And yeah, hope you all have a great day, and thanks for being here.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you later.